No one has done this before. No one on this telephone has done it before. No other state has done it before.
For the first time, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, and Delaware are set to create a coordinated plan to slowly reopen businesses in a way all governors agree on.
Doing it as a cooperative effort where we learn from each other. And we share information and we share resources.
Governor Ned Lamont participating in a teleconference with several other governors Monday afternoon.
Connecticut is all along that I-95 Metro North corridor where we have hundreds of thousands of people going back and forth between New York and Connecticut. It's the commuter corridor for us, but it's also the COVID corridor, which is why it's so important that we work together thoughtfully on this, listen to the experts, as you say, and make sure you don't pull the trigger too early.
Lamont emphasizing it's in Connecticut's best interest to work with other states.
And it also makes sense if Cuomo is going to open his bars and restaurants at some point indeterminate in the future, we should probably be on the same path as New York and vice versa, I might say. That said, I understand that, look, all parts of the state in this region are very different, and we're going to act on our own. But
also says he will still focus on measures tailored to specific communities here in Connecticut.
New London County and Litchfield County and Tolland, are much lower in terms of infection rate. And that's no reason to get complacent. That means that if we continue to go with our molecular testing, the testing that determines whether or not you're afflicted with COVID, that in a place like Fairfield County, where the infection rate is not nearly what it is in, say, New York City, but is still dramatically higher than it is in the rest of the state, that there we'll focus on the antibody testing. That's the blood test. That's the test that says whether or not you've been infected by COVID and whether or not you maybe built up some of the antibodies that would mean you're more likely to be able to get back to work first.
Senate Republican leader Len Fasano says Connecticut's needs are different from New York City.
If Governor Lamont feels he needs some help from New York and get some suggestions because we do share that boundary, I get that. But we need a plan here in Connecticut. And that plan should be developed with Governor Lamont and the legislative leaders with professionals on the medical side who can weigh in on it.
So what is your response to the letter Senator Fasano sent you today in regards to before making promises to the governors of New York or New Jersey, he wants you to consult with Connecticut lawmakers and his warning against a one-size-fits-all approach?
There's no one-size-fits-all even within the state of Connecticut. And I'm going to rely upon the experts.
Lamont also focusing on essential businesses like Electric Boat for taking measures to protect employees after at least 17 infections were reported there.
A little distress that Electric Boat has had a fair number of infections over the last few days. What they're doing in terms of separating out the different shifts, they got the blue shift and the gold shift, I think it is, with a break in between so they can clean everything down. I know more than in my heart we're going to do everything we can to get these businesses open. We're planning about that every day. But in the meantime, I've got to urge you, I've got to remind you, I've got to tell you, maintain the social distancing. That's how we'll be safe, and that's how we'll get this economy going again.
In Hartford, Zinnia Maldonado, Fox 61 News.